Yes, lovely people, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel. I'm Josh, aka The Cock Tribunal, and today I've got a bit of a different one for you. My normal style is I would walk you through, maybe go through a couple of transfer targets, talk to you about the news. Today, we are going to be tier listing Liverpool's potential transfer targets this transfer window, from priority signing to an awful signing that I think we should avoid at all costs. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. The support recently has meant a lot to me. Got the new mic as well, so hopefully it sounds good. Let me know, guys, if it sounds good in the comment section below. With that being said, I won't keep you guys for super long. Let's get straight to the tier list. First player we're going to talk about, we're going to work from defense forward. So we are going to talk about Jed Spence. For me, Jed Spence straight away goes in the priority signing. I could understand maybe a great signing. Okay, apologies. Let me go through the tiers quick. We got bad/awful signing, mediocre signing, good signing, great signing, priority signing. For me, Jed Spence is a priority signing. I can understand people saying he maybe should only be a good or great signing, but if you watched him at the World Cup, he was England's best defender by a mile. If you've watched him at Spurs, he's one of their best defenders, probably their best defender last season, especially at the fullback position. For rumoured £50 million, for me, it doesn't get much better. Can play both flanks to a very high level, very combative, great on the ball as well going forward. So it offers his presence as well, attacking presence, but is also very shored up, switched on defensively, athletically great. Wouldn't cost too much from Tottenham, who are reportedly looking or wouldn't be opposed to selling him in the transfer window. So for me, Jed Spence would be a priority signing. Let me know as well, guys, if there's any players you think I've missed. And what I'll do actually is I will upload this tier list in the description of the video so you guys can fill it out and screenshot it and put it in the comments, or send it to me on my socials. They'll be in the description as well. Let me know what you guys think. If there's anything that you disagree with, or if there's any players you think I've missed, please feel free to let me know in the comment section. We could do a part 2 with other players. For me, I've just picked kind of the players that we've been linked with the most throughout the window, other than maybe a Diamonde, but we know we're not going to sign him, so it made no sense for me to put him in the tier list. Next up for me is Lucian Gertruda. He goes in the great signing category. If you watched my video, which I'm hoping most of you did, because it's by far my best performing video, so thank you to everyone who watched that. For me, Gertruda was one of the players I would sign in defense. Versatile Swiss Army knife, can play across the back for left back, centre back, right back. Can also play as an auxiliary defensive midfielder. So for me, he should be one of the key signings that we attempt to make. If we sign Jed Spence, I would imagine we don't go for Gertruda. So Jed Spence would be my first choice, followed then obviously by Gertruda. For about 35 million is the rumoured fee. Leipzig are inclined to sell him this season. Did have a good year at Sunderland, but apparently he's looking to leave. So we'll see what happens on that department. Like I said, versatile, strong, quick, doesn't offer as much going forward as Jed Spence, but offers just as much, probably more than Spence in terms of a defensive reliability, defensive output. Tall, I believe he's about 6 foot, 6'1", so offers aerial presence as well, especially at the fullback position, which I would be playing him at mostly. But like I said, with Xhaka seemingly being the starting centre back, having an experienced but still young centre back and Gertruda there makes sense, especially if you're keeping Joe Gomez. Then you have 2 utility players who can play across the back line. But he would probably be the starting right back for me if we did sign him. Let me know, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Gertruda in the comment section below as well. For me personally, I know we were close to signing him in January last season, or I think deadline day. We almost had the deal over the line, but I don't believe Sunderland. Was it Sunderland or was it Leipzig? Couldn't find a replacement. With that being said, moving on to centre backs now. I've got 2 centre backs. Try to keep about 2 or 3 for each position. I don't want to keep you guys for super long because we've got to go get ready to do the World Cup watch along with Matt. Ilya Zabani. You may be asking, where are you going to put him, Josh? I'm not going to put him in priority. I might put him in great, I'm going to put him in good signing. For me, Ilya Zabani is a good centre-back, but lack of minutes in that PSG defence, which is a great defence, but Marquinhos is old now, or getting older. For me, the fact that he played less than 1,000 minutes, I believe, last season for PSG, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But from what I saw, he played barely any for PSG last season. Many of the games I watched were Champions League, so he may have played more in the league. I'm not super aware of that. But from what I've seen of him, not super gifted on the ball, can play on ball. I haven't got major worries or issues about him as a ball playing centre back, but isn't super gifted. Is good at tackling, not great. Is good in the air, not great. His athleticism is probably one of his best attributes. He's quite quick, quite strong, quite tall. But prone to make a mistake. The argument I could see for maybe someone putting him higher is he's already played under Iraola. But I think if you play that little minutes for a team playing in the French league who dominated the French league and won the Champions League, so played 60 plus games, and you played that little minutes, for me doesn't instill me with confidence towards the player. Don't think he's a bad player, still relatively young. We were linked to him before he went to PSG, and like I said, for me, if we signed him, I think it'd be a good signing, but it's not going to move mountains for me like the next player would, which I'll move on to Joel Ordonez. If any of you guys heard me on Matt or Drifty's show at the start of the World Cup, I wasn't super sold on Ordonez, but watching him in that Colombian team make his way and single. I mean, I know Switzerland aren't a super team, but he locked Switzerland up from what I remember. Pardon me. And I'm stupid because he's Ecuadorian. That's why I couldn't remember playing against Switzerland. So I'm chatting out my ass there. Apologies, chat. But played very well for Ecuador in the back line with, of course, Pacho and Hincapi. I sat there and I thought, Ordonez is Ecuadorian. What am I talking about? He didn't play against Switzerland. Like I knew I was wrong, but I was just talking till I Googled it. Apologies, chat. I'm an idiot. But he did play well for Ecuador. The games I saw him at the World Cup, and then watching him, going back and watching some Club Brugge games, watching some highlights, key moments. Very imposing centre back, very versatile as well. Can play off the left and the right. Very strong, good on the ball, very quick. Not afraid to get into a tackle, but isn't overly rash, but can win tackles at a high level. Good in the air, attacking threat from corners. Like I said, good passer as well. So for me, Joe Ordonez would go in the great signing category. He would be, out of the realistic options, I'm not going to include Schlotterbeck on that. He would probably be the centre back I'd go for. Trying to think of any other names. Probably not. Maybe Jared Branthwaite. But hey ho, we'll see what happens with that, with the centre back department. They might not sign any. They might really be boosting Xhaka to the moon and saying, we trust this kid. Gave him the number 5 shirt. He's going to come in, start next to Verge, and he might be great. He might tear the league up, and we're saying, wow, why did we want to sign a starting centre back? Next up is the guy I've been raving on about. Me and Cal have been talking about this guy. It is Manu Kone. I'm not going to say anything else other than he is a priority signing for me, and he's a higher priority than Jed Spence. McAllister, I've said it over numerous videos now, McAllister hasn't got the legs to compete. For me, in an Iraola system, Manu Kone is the exact opposite. He's not as technical on the ball as McAllister, but he is a super athlete. Extremely tall, extremely long, extremely fast. Extremely long as a pause. But extremely athletic. Super dominant, super strong. Very good ball winner. Very good at tracking runners, putting out fires before they happen. And he's not a destroyer. He's not an out-and-out 6, but he is definitely someone who can play in that double pivot alongside a Sobo, alongside a Grav, and can be the main ball winner, the one who breaks up the counter-attacks before they happen, almost like Fabinho. Obviously, we know Fabinho was an out-and-out 6, so they're different players. But in terms of how he can have an impact on the team, I think he can have one similar to how Fabinho had it, just maybe not to the level, because we know Flacco was a unicorn. But yeah, Manu Kone would be my first choice midfield signing this summer. We were linked to him obviously 2 or 3 years ago before he went to Roma, him and Kefren Turam. And for me, it's a no-brainer to go and sign him now. If I was rumored to be about 45, 50 million pounds, when you're seeing players like Mateus Fernandez go for 95, Tonali go for 100, Tielemans go for 35. I love Tielemans, but at his age with the legs, I mean, I know it's a release clause, so maybe that's unfair. But for me, Manu Kone should be Liverpool's midfield signing. Moving on now to Sano. Obviously, he plays for Mainz in Germany. I assume, like me, a lot of you haven't watched loads of him. Saw a bit of him towards the end of last season. And I didn't watch many Japan games, if any, so I couldn't tell you. I don't even know if he's in the squad. If I'm being totally honest, I'm not sure if he was in the squad. But people are talking highly about him. From what I've seen of him, he is a combative midfielder, isn't afraid to tackle, good on the ball, can move the ball forward, but isn't really exceptional at anything. I could be wrong on that. Like I said, I haven't got a huge sample size to go off of that I've seen of him. For me, Sano would be the first mediocre signing. In terms of what he offers for the Liverpool midfield, I think he definitely could have a role in the squad. But a bit like Zabani, to a lesser degree, though, he's not going to move any mountains in terms of if we sign him. I think fans are going to get up for it. I don't believe they will. I don't think he's a super technically gifted player or a super ball winner. Nothing. He doesn't excel at any specific category. He is good. He's not a bad player at all. And if we signed him to be a off the bench midfield depth player, I would be happy with that. But in a summer where we are looking for a starting six or starting player to play in the double pivot to be a ball winner, Sano for me is not the right option for that. Still really young. I believe he's 24, maybe 25. Let me double check that quick. But like I said, the profile of player that he is, for me, isn't necessarily what we need this season. He's 25. But I mean, who knows? If we sign him and he turns out to be a cracking player, then I'm sure all of us would be happy. For me, I would just stay clear of that one for now. Next up, one of the most talked about players this window, Ayub Bawadi. It's looking increasingly likely by the day that he goes to Man City. But as of now, there is nothing super concrete that City have put a bid in for him or that he even, I'm sure he would go to City, but that they've agreed personal terms. For me, Ayub Bawadi goes into the great signing category. Potentially priority signing, but I'm saving the priority signings for the first players I want to sign in that position. For me, Bawadi would be my second or third choice for midfield. I got eyes on him last season in the French league for Lille. I didn't see a lot of that, obviously, but watching the World Cup, one of the most impressive young players at the World Cup, if not the most impressive young player. Very competitive midfielder, very good ball winner, still, I think, 18 or 19. So insanely young with a huge upside in terms of potential. Yeah, he's only 18. He's younger than me. Fucking hell. But a great passer of the ball. We saw in the French game, I know it's different because France are a better team all round than Morocco, but Manu Kone moved to him. Isn't a super physical midfielder, can get bullied off the ball at times. Not saying that would happen if he came to Liverpool. Obviously, we know with age, you bulk up, you fill out your body more. We've seen it with Rio already in preseason. Looks like he's filled out a lot more, gotten bigger. That's a pause as well. But Bawadi for 100 million, would I rather that or go spend 50 on Manu Kone? For me, I would still go spend 50 on Manu Kone. In 3 or 4 years' time, Manu Kone could turn out not to be the superstar I think he is. And Bawadi could be the best midfielder in the world and City are dominating again. And I've got egg on my face. I'm sure he will be a fantastic player. And I would absolutely sign him if the opportunity was there. But for me, he is not the priority behind Manu Kone. Like I said, he probably is my second choice if I'm being realistic. Next up is the one we've been linked with for seemingly about a year now. The rumours just won't go away. When you think his name's separate in sentences to Liverpool, they always find a way to sneak him back in. Adam Wharton. I had a conversation with Yards on stream, Big Up Yards, last night, talking about Adam Wharton to Liverpool, how we think it would work out. I'm of the opinion that Wharton is a great player, and can get even better, but isn't the solution for us this season. Wharton isn't going to be the ball winner that we need. For me, he's a similar profile or does similar things to the players we've already got. We need a player like Kone who is completely different. If you had Kone and you signed Adam Wharton, I would be here for it immediately. I think them two on a double pivot would work wonders. But Adam Wharton coming in to be the sole midfield signing for me, and I might get crucified for this, would be a mediocre signing. Not a mediocre player, far from it. In terms of players, he's probably, you might argue, the second best player on this list so far. But if he's coming in to be Liverpool's only midfield signing, it would be a mediocre signing. I don't think it pushes us forward. I think it keeps us exactly where we are. I think it takes minutes away from Curtis Jones and Trainioni, who need minutes this season and who offer similar things to Adam Wharton. So for me, Adam Wharton would be a mediocre signing. All right, we've got 4 names left to go now. We're moving on to the attackers, the fun ones. No one wants to talk about defenders and midfielders. We all had to talk about the attackers. Starting up, I'm actually going to move him last. Starting off with Mateus Fernandez Pardo, another player from Lille, Belgian left winger, very quick, very shifty, good with his feet, got good productivity. Last season, I'll get his numbers for you guys quickly. There we are. Apologies, chat. FootMob weren't showing his numbers. So he had 13 GA in 29 games last year for Lille. Obviously, only 21 years of age. It's listed him as primarily a striker. I've always known him to be a left winger who can play off the right. He's right-footed. So obviously, with the modern game now, you tend to see a lot of dominant foot players playing on the opposite wing, just for the value of cutting in and shooting. But like I said, so apologies. 13 GA in 27 games, 8 goals, 5 assists. Very talented young player. I'm not going to argue that. Could absolutely be a brilliant player one day. For me, if we're signing a left winger, it has to be an S-class, A-class left winger. For me, Pardo doesn't come into that category just yet. Absolutely could. Maybe one of the best wingers in the world one day. I'm not going to sit here and argue that he wouldn't be. But if we are signing a left winger, taking minutes away from Rio effectively, it needs to be a player who is a needle mover now. For me, Fernandez Pardo isn't that, which is why I'm going to put him in the good signing, but he's not going to be anything higher than that. And it's also unfair to say anything lower than that because he is so young. Moving on now to a player I actually rate higher than Fernandez Pardo, which is Saeed El Mala. El Mala, I believe, is 18 or 19. Had amazing output last season. He's 19 years of age. Had 17 GA in 34 games, 13 goals off the left wing for a struggling Cologne team. He's a brilliant player. Brilliant young player. Lots of talent. Should have probably gone to the World Cup for Germany. And 100% could be one of the best wingers in the world one day. I've got faith that he actually will be. I know I said I wouldn't sign a left winger unless they're a needle mover, but when they've got the talent that I think this kid has, I would argue El Mala would be a great signing. Fast, direct, explosive, great end product as well. Good with both feet, tracks back, good defensively, has an amazing work rate, presses really well. For me, Saeed El Mala would be 100% a signing that I would make. Even if you loaned him out for a year potentially to another Premier League team or back to Germany, has the ability to play off the right as well. It's not like he's solely a left winger, can play across the front three. And I think if you are still planning on being careful with Rio this season, you could bring him in. For me, he's 2 years younger, but already better than Fernandez Pardo. Um, and I 100% would sign El Mala if given the opportunity. Now, I know I'm going to get called a hater. I know people are going to say, Josh, you're being harsh on him. He's not as bad as people are making him out to be. And I agree. I don't think he's an awful player. I just think Yankuba Minter is an awful signing for Liverpool. I feel bad because he's going to be the only player who fits this category. And I don't want people to believe for a second that he's an awful player. He isn't. But for what he's going to provide, and big up Jamie as well, because Jamie's whole point with Minter was he's going to take away the pressure and the players on Wirtz, so Wirtz has the freedom to play, and I hear it. But when he has the ball, he is one of the most one-dimensional players in the league, is one of the least creative players in the league, can't really pass at all. So when he does have the ball, there's only really one of two things he can do. He can either cut inside and try to shoot, or take it to the byline and put a cross in, which more often than not gets blocked or misses the man because he's not got great playmaking ability. So for me, at the end, that just makes us worse. With a player like Minter, and again, I hear Jimmy's point, I understand it, but you need a player where they can run in behind, take the pressure off Florian Wirtz, but when he has the ball, can also do something with it that's productive. Big up Drifty, I know his boys Jeremy Doku. Doku last season definitely got more productive as the season went on, but I would have put him in the same much better player than Minter, even at just taking his man on. But the reason I wouldn't take Minter is the reason why 2 years ago I wouldn't have taken Doku. Because in the final third, his end product is diabolically poor, especially for a Brighton team that generate a lot of chances for their wingers, whose wingers normally have good output. If you look over the years, Minter, Rutter, if he plays off the wing occasionally, even Solly March used to play on the wing and got good numbers. And Minter, I mean, he was... Again, in terms of what he offers off the ball, don't get me wrong, I think there's definitely a player there and he could improve. But 3 goals, 4 assists in 34 matches, playing over 2,400 minutes. I'm not a fan, personally, of Liverpool signing him to be the starting right winger. With that being said, I'm going to move on to the last name and I'm going to wrap us up, get us out of here. Bradley Barcola. I think we've all spoken in depth about Barcola, how if we want him, if we don't want him, where would he play? Are we going to sign him? How much would it cost? For me, I don't care about any of that. He is the priority signing this summer. We need an out-and-out combative, and I know I've used that word a lot, but we need combative players. Fast, direct, pacey, isn't as bad in front of goal as people make him out to be. Certainly better than players like Minter. Is always looking to create something, whether it's taking on a man, winning a corner, cutting inside, getting a shot, winning a corner, playing a pass, getting an assist, or just making something happen himself, scoring goals. Extremely presses extremely well on the ball. So ambidextrous, you wouldn't believe it. Very skillful, has the flair, has the pace, directness to go with it. That for me makes him by far and away, now that Diamonde is unavailable, the main target for Liverpool. Let me know what you guys think as well. Like I said, what I'll do is I will post this tier list in the comment section in the video. So you guys can fill it out if you want as well. Let me know what you guys think. Send the screenshots to me if you want on Twitter, which is the Cop Tribunal, or Instagram, which is also the Cop Tribunal. Like I said, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if there's any players you think I've missed as well in the comment section below. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully the new mic sounds all right. You can hear me a bit better. There won't be as many issues with the mic quality or volume. I'm going to end it here. It's been a pleasure as always. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share as well. The more people you share to, the more people are inclined to see the videos, might like what's going on this channel, may stick around, which is amazing. The more the merrier, of course. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. I'm already working on the 100 sub special video that I'm going to put out the day we hit 100 subs. So when that happens, look forward to that, people. With that being said, it's a pleasure as always. It's been a it's been a good stream or a good show. Apologies. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Look forward to seeing you guys on the World Cup watch along with Matt for Argentina versus Spain in the FIFA World Cup final. Have a lovely evening, guys, or afternoon or morning, whenever you're watching this, and peace.